Hello everybody and welcome to Strasbourg for my September blog. I had a lot of nice emails from people wondering why there was no blog in August. We were all on holiday. I hope you were all on having good holidays too. But now we're back at work here in Strasbourg and a lot of interesting things have been happening. I think first of all I'll just talk a little bit about Gibraltar, because again a number of people have contacted me saying, why are you responsible for Gibraltar? And that's a historic thing, but I am, along with my Southwest colleagues, and asking me what the issues are there. So in August I took a trip to Gibraltar for a few days to try and see for myself the difficulties that have been happening on the border between Gibraltar and Spain. And indeed it really is outrageous that every single day there is a 3-hour at least queue for coming into and for leaving Gibraltar. It varies on the time of day, but it still is incredibly inconvenient for our citizens there. And not just that, there are 10,000 Spanish people working in Gibraltar on a daily basis, and they are disrupted in a most appalling way by the actions of their own government, and they're incredibly unhappy about it. But we need to do something about that. And of course diplomatic action takes place via William Hague in the Foreign Office, and he's fully engaged. So my role in that has really been to go and try and bolster the spirits of people in Gibraltar and say that we in the UK are thinking of them, and we're doing all that we can to get particularly the European Commission to make sure that the Spanish do not behave in this disproportionate way on the border. And no doubt there'll be more in the papers over the next few weeks on that one. But what are we doing here in Strasbourg? Well, the big news this week for the plenary session is that the Tobacco Products Directive, which has been talked about a lot, and you'll have seen things about it in the papers, has been delayed for a month. So rather than talk about that now, I'll speak a little bit about that later in my October blog to you. Other things going on today, we've got Senor Barroso giving the State of Europe address to the Parliament. I've only just listened to it. I have to say I'm rather disappointed. It really talks still about how Europe is doing very well. In fact, seemed a little smug and self-satisfied to me about how Europe is now breaking out of recession, because clearly it can't have escaped his attention, particularly as he's Portuguese, although they have done very well and I congratulate the Portuguese people. But certainly other parts of the Iberian Peninsula are not doing so well. And we are seeing growth rates which are not going to address anywhere close enough to increasing the levels of employment, particularly in southern Europe. So a lot more work to be done there. So I thought he was rather complacent about that. And he also told us yet again that we need more Europe. The response is not to deal with Europe and change it. At one point I thought he was going to say those of you who want to change Europe need to work hard on it, but actually what he said was those of you who want to change Europe need to work harder towards strengthening the European Union and strengthening the political union between the member states. And this really is old rhetoric, way out of date. The people of Europe are thinking way beyond that. And what they want to see, as we do in the UK, is change to the way that Europe operates. We want to see reductions in Europe's interference, not further integration and progress towards political union. And this is going to be the fundamental crux of the European elections next year. And that's where I think we British Conservatives have a very good story to tell. Because not only do we want to reform Europe, but we want to do it via letting the people have their say and via a referendum. And I happen to think that really is the only way forward. Just to finish, just a short word about biofuels. Now, you probably don't know, but Europe back in 2008 set a target. That is that for our use of transport, we would have to have 10% coming from renewable energy. That comes through biodiesel, through biofuel that replaces petrol, and it was indeed supposed to come from things like electricity. Now you will know by the number of electric cars you see, which is not very many, that we're not getting very far with the electricity because the cars just don't do the job that we need them to do. But on the biofuel side, in the UK, we've done rather well. You probably don't even know that when you put diesel in your car, a proportion of it is biodiesel, but it is, and that proportion has been increasing. Now, what we've had is a very strong lobby saying that this is affecting food production. So in places like Indonesia, they are apparently palm oil, which goes into our biodiesel, they are displacing indigenous people and reducing the amount of food available. So they say. This is not measurable, and it is very difficult to say exactly how much of that is happening. But on the basis of the idea, the European Commission is putting forward proposals to change the biofuels regime. Now, myself and our group are entirely against this because we don't believe that when you set a target and industry organises towards that target, which was 2020, that we should actually be in the position where we're changing before we've even got to that date. We need certainty in policy, and we certainly don't need to be making policy on an emotional level, as indeed the biofuels debate has become. So today I will be voting against reduction in the cap on biofuels, and we'll wait and see how that goes. I'll certainly be sending out releases and putting on my website. So if you're interested in that food debate, please look out for more information. So thank you very much. I'll sign off now. Hope you have a good rest of September, and I'll speak to you again in October.